Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. I'm Rob Aberzino. Next to me is Dangerous Dale Luke. Nobody calls him that here. And to my right, we have a special guest from Traditions Firearms, Mr. Ryan Nicholas, like the saint, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Baton Rouge.
It's a pleasure to be here.
How are we doing? Hot enough for you?
It is a little humid.
That's the first thing.
The Arizona dry heat and this wet heat is a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what we have for breakfast around here.
Yeah.
It's just the humidity.
Yeah. It's
For
good.
sure.
It's good for the skin, though.
Absolutely.
It's great for
so
the
they
skin.
say.
Keeps you glowing.
That's right.
Well,
That's
welcome.
right.
We're happy to have you here.
I appreciate the opportunity to come on.
We got a lot to dive into, and I guess I'll start. We can talk a little bit about maybe just a little brief history, and just a little bit about the company with Traditions and your role. You're the vice president of sales. I should have introduced you formally,
no
but tell us a little bit about Traditions. Just a little backdrop.
Yeah. So Traditions has been around as a black powder company, a hunting company. We're 100% family-owned company. It's been around since the 80s. Current ownerships own the company since 1992, I believe, 1992 or 93. I've been the VP of sales there since 2016. And so small family-run black powder leader in the category as far as when it comes to muzzle loading. I always like to say that Tom Hall's our president, and I always say if you cut him, he bleeds black powder, right? And so really, as a company, we are what makes us unique in the market is the innovation that we bring in the products that we offer, but also the family atmosphere and then the focus on the hunting markets. We are we're not actively chasing all of these other markets. We are pretty much insanely focused on muzzle loading and hunting as a core.
You've stayed in your lane throughout the years.
We've stayed in our lane throughout the years, and we're not chasing all these other segments of the market. Now, we do have some niche lines of like single action revolvers for cowboy hunting or stuff like that, and some black powder revolvers, but they're all tied into predominantly. When you look at Traditions, we are, like I said, a leader in the black powder category. We know muzzle loading. We're all users. Everybody in the sales and marketing team, in the product development team, we're all active users. And so a lot of the innovation and the development comes from spending hours in the stand and thinking, or you're using something and then all of a sudden, like the Ram T-Rod that we have is a prime example. Like, of how could we make this better? And
Exactly.
so you got hours when you're waiting for a game to come by or something. And so you're constantly thinking, you're making notes and stuff like that. So that's really what drives us as a company is really a pursuit of that outdoor lifestyle. And, we're passionate about it. We love the industry, the segment. And, so that's kind of a brief history on Traditions. We've got a kind of a legacy of innovation starting way back to the, with the striker fire revolution that we did in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, the NitroBolt 4 or 5 years ago, or the Nitro Fire and the Fire Stick collaboration that we did, we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And then now with the NitroBolt this year. So we're just continuing and we've got more things in the pipeline. So.
Well, what I love about the company itself, you have very traditional black powder rifles.
Absolutely.
From everything from round ball, conical bullets, side locks, flint locks, standard percussion, 209s. You've stayed in that wheelhouse, and then to take it to the next level with the innovation of the bolt action gun here is just amazing.
Yeah, we've got I don't even know how many lines we carry now, Dale. I mean, just total. I mean, a lot, but and none quite like this. I mean, it's really cool to have everything we carry. We got a lot of great stuff, of course.
Yeah, you do.
But to have one that sort of stands out like this is really neat.
Sure. Yeah, and muzzle loading's unique. I mean, it's it's not necessarily before the Nitro Fire and the Fire Stick and everything. It was 100% seasonal, right? It's all and so obviously you got to get product to retailers and places in advance of seasons, but it was very seasonal. When the Nitro Fire and the Fire Stick came out, we started seeing guns selling all year, and we're even seeing more and more retailers are actually keeping it up all year as opposed to seasonal sets as well.
Yeah.
And so and from our perspective, hunter participation is important, right? And so safety is important. And so a lot of the innovation comes with, safety in mind. It comes with how can we attract new users to the segment, because muzzleloading, let's face it, 40 or 50 years ago, super confusing. Lots of accessories.
It was very intimidating.
Yeah.
With between patches and round balls and all the cleaning stuff and all the accessories you needed to just hunt with a traditional gun. And we still sell a lot of your Pennsylvanias, your Kentuckys, your Hawkins, all those, because there's still a market. And one of the things that makes us unique in that, we make the finished guns, but then we also make build-it-yourself kits. And the build-it-yourself kits are great. Father-son projects, family heritage type things. People can, it's all unfinished wood. It's not blued. The stocks and everything are all CNC inletted for all the locks. The locks are pre-built, and so it's a fun project to do, and it's got safety built into that, because all of the parts that matter, they're all made in the factory to factory specs and everything like that. So it's really a unique thing, and it allows people to customize, change the finish if they wanted to do a tiger wood finish on their stock or do whatever they want.
Exactly.
They have the ability to inlet however they want or do whatever they want. So we're getting we get photos all the time from people that are like, oh, here's my build, and it's really
that's so
fun.
cool. I
That's
can't
awesome.
tell you how many unfinished Hawkins kits that we've sold throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's been really something.
They're neat.
So we've got this gem sitting right in front of us here. I mean, let's get into it. New product. I know you guys launched this at SHOT, so that was a minute ago, but
sure.
But it's really hitting the market now. So
Yeah.
And I know you guys wanted to kind of feature this, and let's talk about what we're looking at.
Yeah. So this gun here is the world's first and only Fire Stick enabled bolt action muzzleloader on the market, right? It's our NitroBolt platform. It's got all the latest innovations. So we have, starting from back to front, you have an adjustable length of pull spacer system to adjust your length of pull for a full inch of adjustability there. You also have an click adjustable cheek riser to adjust for your scope. You've got your rail on there. It is a bolt action Fire Stick muzzleloader. So a couple of other unique features about this gun: you have a 3-position safety. So in the all the way back position, the bolt is locked, and the gun will not fire. In the center position, you can cycle and unload, but it still will not fire. And in the forward fire position is your fire position.
So talk about this operationally a little bit, for people that may not know. So, it's the bolt action, using the Fire Stick. So as opposed to, most people are familiar with your traditional bolt gun, of course.
Sure.
So what's kind of the differences here, and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So first off, it is a muzzle loader, so you still have to load the bullet from the muzzle. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your bullet. We have some bullets sitting out there, which happens to be our new long range muzzle loading bullet, 340 grain. It's a Smackdown ELDX bullet. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your bullet in, and you're going to load your bullet through the muzzle with the ramrod. And then at the front of the chamber, there's actually a shelf in the Fire Stick enabled muzzle loaders. There's actually a shelf that the bullet will sit on and seat on every time.
So it's a lip, so you don't
it's a lip. You
push
can't,
it down.
You're always going to seat it at the same place. Right. And so with how that's different than maybe traditional muzzle loading, sometimes you're dropping pellets down, or you're putting loose powder down. And so, and depending on what you're burning, and after a couple shots, you could create like a fouling ring. And so when you put that down, that fouling ring creates resistance, and you may not be seated 100% on top of your powder every time. And then, so now you have this little air gap in there that's going to create potentially accuracy issues from shot to shot. So the first thing that's unique is you're going to load down on that shelf every time. And then whether it's a break action or this bolt gun, you're gonna open it. You're either gonna break the gun open, or you're gonna cycle the bolt. And then the Fire Stick is Federal makes the Fire Stick, and they make it in 80, 100, and 120 grain black powder equivalent charges. And
so that takes the guesswork completely out of.
And it's impervious to weather, so you don't have to worry about keeping your powder dry. So if you're hunting in a wet, climate, or it's raining, or in the snow,
humidity.
Yeah. You drop it in the snow, you don't have to worry about any of that. So it's all factory loaded. So there's a safety aspect of that, because you don't have to worry about overcharging your gun or things of that nature. So there's a safety aspect, there's a convenience aspect, right? Because now, typically with muzzle loading, you get out in the field and you load your powder and your bullet, and now you're set until you shoot, right? And really, you're either unloading it by either discharging that gun
the safest way,
or the safest way,
Right.
or you're going to take your breech plug out and you're going to take your ramrod and push everything through and out the breech, right? And that's dirty. It's a pain in the neck to clean. It is the best practice because typically in your hunting, if you think about it, you might load that gun and in wherever you're staying, right? Nice warm lodge, right? And then you get into a cold truck, or you're outside and you're driving in a side by side or something, and then if you're in your truck and then it's cold first and then it gets warm again, and all of that temperature variation.
Yeah.
That black powder, as soon as you open it, it starts absorbing the humidity in the air, right? And so it's going to degrade rather quickly compared to smokeless powder, right? And so there's a lot of factors that go into accuracy in black powder. Well, the Fire Stick takes all of that out, right? It is completely encapsulated. It's impervious. It's a one shot and done. It's not reloadable. So basically you have your Fire Stick, and then at the end of your Fire Stick, you put a 209 primer in it. And then you just load your gun that way. And so now if you go to the tree stand, or you got to go over a fence or something like that, or under a fence, you're not having to climb a tree stand with a loaded muzzle loader. You can take the Fire Stick out, climb your stand, put it back in as soon as you get up there and settled. So safety is a big factor. Convenience is a big factor. And then the third thing that you gain with that shelf and that bullet seating at the exact same spot every time is, and then combined with the Fire Stick, is you gain an incredible amount of accuracy. So your powder drops that they load are consistent shot after shot after shot. And so, I mean, we've been kind of touring this gun around and going to the range, and we're clover leafing, 50 caliber, at 100, at 200.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly accurate platform.
What's the velocity like in this?
So it depends on your bullet,
Right.
right? So like those 340 grain bullets, I believe the velocity on those with a 100 grain charge is around, it's a little bit slower. I think it's like 1,800 feet per second. In fact, it's probably in that bullet box there. But
Yeah.
And then a 250 grain, you're looking at about 2,100, right around that 2,100 mark with 100 grains of powder.
Yeah.
Still fast enough that nothing can dodge it.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's for sure.
It's moving.
That's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so 250 grain bullet is kind of that standard in muzzle loading. Some of the heavier bullets, we make bullets between 200 or 170 grains, and that one's now 340. So we have a number of different bullets configurations, saboted or
belted.
the belted bullets, which are optimal for our Pro Series guns, the NitroBolt, the Pro Series guns, anything you want to put a brake on. We don't recommend saboted bullets, because as that sabot leaves, the petals are going to open up and it may catch, and it's still going to exit the brake or anything like that, but it may start to affect downrange accuracy out 100 yards or
it
a
can
little
create
bit later.
any kind of.
So anytime you're shooting one of those, we always recommend either the Smackdown ELDX, or we make a 290 grain Smackdown MZX bullet, which is still same configuration, but it's a non-saboted bullet.
Right,
And then we have
right.
saboted bullets for, all the different states and things, and some preference. Saboted bullets tend to be a little bit more accurate than non-saboted until these are insanely accurate too.
Yeah, but you don't want to foul up your muzzle brake with any kind of
Right.
sabot bullet
Right.
with the plastic and stuff.
Exactly.
So yeah.
As far as versatility for this, I imagine you can, when it comes to game, I mean, there's not much you can't tackle with it. Huh?
There's not much you can't tackle with it. We had one in development last year. My son had a cow hunt out in Arizona, and he carried a prototype of this for a couple of days on that hunt. We did not harvest. It was a difficult hunt, but as far as game, I mean, it's a 50 caliber bullet.
Right.
So you pretty much take anything you can find in North America.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
One of the great things I love about this gun right here, when using the Fire Sticks, you don't have to carry a depriming tool.
Right.
How many times have people been out there, your breech plug gets a little fouled up and stuff, and you're trying to pop out.
Capper.
Yeah, the decapper, exactly. Right. But, you know, another piece that you can often lose, and what do you do? And you're using your pocket knife or a Leatherman tool, you break the tip off of your knife. But, yeah, this type of system here makes it really bulletproof.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are now available, I guess.
Yes.
You guys are in. I know it's been, I'm sure, a work in progress. Any new product, right? I mean, trying to get it out. But I know it was a hit at SHOT Show. There was some buzz about this. I remember.
We're excited. The reception's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
A couple other unique features with that. You have the dual sling swivel studs on the front, so you could put a bipod on it for those longer range guys that, you know, maybe they're shooting across a canyon out west or something like that. They want to be able to. So there's a lot of great innovation. The other thing that's unique about this gun is the bolt. You can with a 1.6 millimeter wrench on the end. So you'll see there's a cocking indicator on the end of that bolt there. But that bolt can be removed. You reverse it and slide it into the gun to just decock the bolt, and then you take your 6 millimeter wrench to loosen it, and then you can just hand loosen it. There's 4 parts, so the bolt fully disassembles for cleaning. Right, black powder's corrosive, all that stuff. A lot of the fire stick platform is also a lot cleaner because a lot of your blowback is kind of remains within that fire stick as opposed to a traditional gun, but it is fully disassemblable. You can disassemble it, clean it, put it back together. So it's super easy, very easy to clean. And then obviously when you take the bolt out, you can clean it just like you would a regular gun breech to muzzle.
That's nice. That's nice. Let's talk about the muzzle brake real quick, because that's a pretty cool design gun. That's the way that mounts and everything.
Yeah,
else.
Sure. So the muzzle brake that we have, it's designed for the NitroBolt and our Pro Series guns. So we make a traditional muzzleloader, a breech plug muzzleloader in the Pursuit Pro. The Pro Series gives you the adjustability that you see on this gun on the back, and then it has the threaded muzzle. And so the brake is an accessory. You know, it's a $100 retail accessory that.
So it does not come with the gun itself.
It does not come with the gun itself, right? But we have it outfitted here for demonstration purposes. But it's designed specifically for our muzzle loaders. And so the way that it's self-timed, so you screw that on, you can adjust it. It's designed so that the ports kind of blow back on a slight angle, and it's designed to push the smoke out of the sides so that when you shoot, you're not having to look through a cloud of smoke to watch your animal fall, right? And so then typical advantages of a muzzle brake. Yeah, you'll get some point of impact shift, no effect on accuracy, but a huge reduction, about 30 to 40% reduction in recoil.
That's huge.
It's big when you're shooting a 50 caliber.
Absolutely.
Bullet,
Sure,
yeah. So
absolutely.
It's fantastic. And so it's self-timed. So you thread it on, you line it up because it's flat across the top. So you line it up and then you tighten it down and it locks in place. The other thing that's unique about that is we have a little brass jag there on the table that we ship with that muzzle brake, because when you put an extra 2.5, 3 inches on your brake, now your ramrod's too short.
True.
So we make that extension. It ships with the brake so that you can just put it on your ramrod to adjust that.
That's fantastic.
That's nice. I mean, this is a heck of a setup.
Yeah, we're excited about it. The reception's been fantastic. You know, we've had numbers of writers and things out on. We've killed a lot of things with it already. So
I was shocked to see how light the rifle is.
Yeah.
It's extremely light.
Yeah, it is.
This gun is about 8.5 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one of the things when we were designing it and going through, and it's difficult because you got such a long action and you got there's a lot of metal on that bolt. I mean, you're 50 caliber. So it was a little bit of an engineering feat for the guys, because we were like, we got to be under 9 pounds. And so, and then, you're trying to balance, because if you go too light, now you're shooting a 50 caliber bullet, and like, what's the recoil going to be on this thing? And so, we spent a solid 1.5 years in stock redesigns,
just trying to balance it out.
Because sometimes you get behind a gun, and sometimes just the design of the stock, I mean, they bite you. Yeah. And this gun is really easy to shoot. It does. We don't have that bite problem and stuff like that. So we spent. There was a lot. I know there was in the development process between the product testers and our engineers. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
I think we did 3 different renditions to the stock before we got to where it was where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit more vertical grip on this than a traditional Monte Carlo style stock with the adjustability and stuff. And so, and then, you know, just kind of the way it fits in your hand. And so, and it's difficult because everybody's hands are different sizes. And so you're trying to find that middle ground. But there was a lot of development that we went back and forth in there, much to some of their, there were some engineers, you know, they're excellent at what they do. And a lot of them, you know, ours like to be designers and at looking at aesthetics and things. And so matching that up with what the market trends are and what shooters want today versus maybe what they wanted 30 or 40 years ago. And just the evolution of that, there was a lot of back and forth, and we're excited. Everybody's on board, and it's just a great gun.
Well, I know we did some training this morning too, I think, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we did some product training.
Everybody's schooled up downstairs. I don't think we'll have a problem moving these pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
This is the new kid on the block really this year, but the Nitro Fire is another one I think we wanted to touch on, which that one's been out for a little while, right?
Yeah, so the Nitro Fire is about 4 years old now. And
that was an award winner a few years ago.
Award winner, Golden Bullseye Award winner when it came out. And so the Nitro Fire is the first fire stick enabled muzzleloader on the market. We collaborated with Federal, back and forth design, optimizing all that stuff, and that's a traditional break open muzzleloader. So same shelf, right? You load the bullet, you break the gun open, you prime your fire stick, drop your fire stick in, put your primer in, close it up, you're good to go. And so the other thing that's unique about the inline, like the Nitro Fire, and even our inlines is those are hammer guns. Okay, so those guns feature a rebounding hammer safety system, so that hammer's not resting against your firing pin. They also feature a trigger block safety system. So all of our Nitro Fires, our inline muzzleloaders, all have that dual safety system on them, whether it's a fire stick gun or a traditional breech loader gun or a breech plug gun.
That's interesting.
And one real cool thing about that gun, it was how the forearm disconnects from it.
So that's actually not the Nitro Fire. That's our straight wall cartridge gun.
Oh,
so because we can't use, so the straight wall cartridge gun that we have has the disconnectable forearm, but the Nitro Fire still has a ramrod. So, you know, because there's a pin in there, you can't fit that in.
Yeah,
but
true.
Yeah, no, that's a cool feature of the straight wall stuff that we have.
Yeah, the straight wall, it you know, kind of prevents that over torquing of that screw that could throw your accuracy off.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other thing, the NitroBolt, it's pillar bedded, free floating barrel, all the things that you think of in an accurate bolt action rifle, this gun has in a muzzleloader.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing how accurate muzzleloaders have gotten throughout the years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not your
and the distance.
Not your grandfather's muzzleloader.
No,
anymore. Yeah.
no, not at all.
It's quite a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, like we always say, you know, our guns are probably built to shoot further than most people can.
Yeah.
You know, and for us, you know, we're that hardcore hunting guys. Now there are guys that are going to take that and they're going to stretch its legs and try and shoot it as far as they can, right? But we're not. We don't promote that. We're promoting ethical hunting and killing. And so, you know, we're not saying you should go shoot this at 500 yards or 400 yards or anything like that, because most people can't. You know, and because we're not in that competitive market or, you know, competitive shooting market necessarily. You know, we're a hunting market, and so we're going to build guns that are going to be capable of shooting what you need to shoot.
I was going to say the capability of the gun is there,
time.
but you know, the skill set it doesn't always match up. You know, so
and it's kind of interesting because you know the more advancements that you bring into muzzleloading, then states start to go, well, is this still a primitive weapon, or like what is the difference here? And we don't promote that distance because, you know, and you see this like in crossbows, right? That just companies are pushing the limit on how far you can shoot a crossbow and stuff. And at some point, you know, there's all sorts of factors that get into place. And so, and state agencies kind of push back against some of that too. And so from us, we want to be responsible.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to build a great hunting platform that's capable of taking game for, you know, whatever you need. And ultimately, you know, but we're not going to go tout it as, oh, this gun is going to do X or Y or anything like that. Yeah.
It's a good transition. You know, you talk about state agencies and things like that. Things like that. You know, we were discussing just very briefly when you came in about rules and regulations. It's a good time of year. At the end of August, everyone's starting to switch into hunting mode now. So it's a very timely visit for you.
Right. But black powder seasons are often the first season to crank off.
Exactly. So let's get
especially
into
out west.
Let's get into that a little bit. For people again who may not know, what are we could probably sit all day and talk about rules and regulations, but kind of at a high level, maybe state to state, or maybe some of the states
or maybe
that are more
regions.
popular, or regions even. What are some things that are helpful to people when it comes to rules and laws and things like that?
Sure. So you have a handful of states that have a lot of restrictions around muzzle loading. Like you think of Oregon and Idaho out west, right? Montana. So Oregon and Idaho, for example, you can shoot an inline muzzle loader, but it has to have an exposed breech plug or breech ignition. So you have to use like a number 11 or a musket cap. And so we have Northwest guns for that are still an inline muzzleloader ignition with an exposed breech. So they have those specific regulations. Most of your other states allow a 209 ignition, which is your fire stick is a 209 enabled ignition. Your standard muzzleloaders are 209 ignition as well. And so in most of the country, you have 209 ignition muzzleloader, whether it's a breech, a traditional muzzleloader where you're loading the powder and the bullet, or the fire stick. And so we have on our website, there's on our Nitro Fire and NitroBolt page, we have a map that shows you what states it's legal to use the fire stick technology in for their muzzleloader season. Obviously, I've had guys use these in the general season because their guns are so accurate. Yeah. Right. And so
these are considered primitive?
This is actually considered a GCA firearm. The fire stick, both the NitroBolt and the Nitro Fire are GCA firearms, but there are about 32 states, I think, I can't remember the exact number, where it is legal to use a fire stick. In fact, Louisiana just made it legal earlier this year, where we are right now. And then some of your western states that have restrictions, they've gone the other way. Like Montana didn't have a muzzleloader season up until 2 or 3 years ago. And they came out with a what they call a heritage season. And so if you drew a tag for archery or a rifle earlier in the season for deer or bear or elk or whatever, and you didn't fill that tag, they came out with a week-long season in December, about the second week of December, that is a heritage muzzleloader, any side lock. So you can use a percussion or a flintlock. It has to be loose powder. It has to be iron sights. It has to be 100% lead projectile. Right.
It's like Colorado.
Just Colorado doesn't allow sabated bullets.
Correct.
Right. And so you can still use a copper bullet, but it doesn't have to be 100% lead.
And it has to be granulated powder.
It has to be loose powder. And then you can't use an optic in Colorado.
Correct.
As an example. Right. And so there are I think 4 states where Colorado you can't use an optic. Oregon and Idaho you can't use an optic. Montana you can't. It's got to be a side lock. There are 4 states, I believe it's North and South Dakota, Utah, and there's one other state where you can only use a 1-power optic, right? And so we make guns configured with that for just a single power optic on that. And then Colorado, you can't use an optic at all, but we have peep sights, we have open sights, we have all different sights to fit those markets. And so these ELDX and the MZX bullets are Colorado legal because they're not a sabated bullet, right?
Correct.
And so so there's some restrictions in that. And then the other standout is Pennsylvania. That's the only state in the union here that has a dedicated flintlock only season. And so that season starts on Christmas and it runs for 2.5 weeks in Pennsylvania. And so that's flintlock, right? You have to use, and then that brings its whole, because now you have your flint, you've got a pan, you got to put loose powder in your pan to prime it, and so there's a bunch of different things. And so we make guns specifically for that Pennsylvania market in our PA pellet model, where you have all the innovations of an inline, faster twist rate, removable breech plug, all that stuff is still in that side lock platform. It can shoot conicals, it can shoot sabated bullets, it can shoot pelletized powder, and stuff. So every state's a little different, and we have resources on our websites, and I know we provide your team with a bunch of resources.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. For anyone considering getting into this particular market, they can find a lot of this on the website. Because there's obviously a lot to you need to know your rules and regulations of the state you live in, and especially if you're entering this market, this new product line.
And absolutely, we're leaders in the field. We're knowledgeable about the field.
Yeah.
We provide resources for that, but ultimately, whatever state you're hunting in, you got to check the regs and verify and know what
it's responsibility.
As with anything, it doesn't matter what you're.
Yeah, we provide it as a resource,
right?
But it is, it's really informational, and you ultimately have to defer to your state and regs and know what you're going.
Exactly.
You're doing there. For sure.
Exactly. One great thing about it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
All minus the 2 Ps, powder and primers.
Yeah.
Right.
You can get projectiles.
Yeah.
You can get all your cleaning supplies, bullet starters, accessories, ramrods, everything you can get direct from Traditions.
Yeah.
You're in partnership with Federal on a lot of this stuff.
Well,
right?
so the Fire Stick platform, we collaborate.
Yeah, because
with
there's like cleaners and
that sort of
thing, right?
Yeah, so the Fire Sticks. The other thing that's nuanced about black powder for your users is your black powder substitutes, your Pirate X, your 777, your White Hots. They're all water soluble, right? And so your cleaners need to be a water soluble cleaner to be able to remove that residue and stuff. Whereas if you start using an oil-based stuff, sometimes you're going to create gumming and fouling in the barrel that you don't need. So from a cleaning perspective, we've got Fire Stick cleaning specific products. We have Blackhorn 209 specific loose powder. That's a very popular powder because of the consistency and accuracy that you get out of it. But it's more of a petroleum-based product, and so your cleaning products are a little different for Blackhorn 209 and Fire Stick than they are for your traditional black powder substitutes, which are all water soluble. So knowing some of those things, there's a lot of factors in it. Again, and we provide resources. Our customer service team can answer a lot of those questions too. So and we're happy to provide whatever feedback that we have on that.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got a couple other things. I know a couple maybe accessories. You touched on a couple. What were we talking about a little bit earlier?
We're talking about the
ramrod. Yeah, the ramrod. The Ram
we
T
have
rod.
one. We have one here in the studio somewhere.
Yeah.
We're
Let's see if we can dig it up. We'll put it on camera here. But
in that box, I think.
Oh, it's downstairs. Okay.
No, he walked in with it.
That's all right. Well, let's talk about it a little bit. So,
So
everyone's familiar with the kind of the standard ramrod.
Right, standard ramrod. So one of the challenges with the standard ramrods, pretty much all the inline, the way they're designed, the ramrods are shorter than. You don't want your ramrod sticking out past the muzzle, right? And so on ours, not on the NitroBolt because it is long enough, but on the inlines, the ramrod, you have to spin the end around to make that long enough to be able to utilize and do that. So we came out with a new Ram T rod, which is a new product for us this year too. It's like $50 retail product, and basically it threads on and it extends out, and then it flips up and it locks in place, and so it eliminates and makes that use in the field that much faster. And so we make 3 different models for 24, 26, and 28-inch muzzleloaders. Pretty much, match up the barrel length of what you're using. So it is really good because it's got about a 6-inch extension on it, and so it makes it real easy in the field to unscrew it, twist it out, lock it in place. It's the tip on it is concave, so it can accommodate these style of bullets or round balls or conicals, and then it's also threaded, so you can put either, for example, that jag extension if you're shooting with the brake, or you could put your cleaning brush on there or swab or whatever you want for cleaning and everything like that. So it's really well thought out and designed. And
a true multi-purpose design.
Yeah, it's a great product, and I thought we had one here, but I guess we don't. So
that's all right. We'll
get some footage.
Yeah. Chris will get it in the video for us somewhere, right? work his magic. What I know you probably this again. We're just underway with this, as far as getting it out to the public here. But I know you've probably got some things in development that I don't know how much you could touch out there. But SHOT Show's coming around again, and we've always got to impress, right?
Yeah,
So,
Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to discuss
Can't get
any
into too much
specifics on what we have going, but I can tell you,
gonna have something cool at the
we're
show.
We're working to have some cool things at SHOT Show.
Good.
We're working at looking at. We look at our product line. We look at, okay, what are we missing? What can we do different?
Yeah.
So we're always looking for ways to innovate and just keep driving the category forward, right? And the big thing, like with the Fire Stick, the participation and drawing new people into the category has been a huge thing, because muzzleloading is like, it can be intimidating.
Sure.
You got
Absolutely.
certainly the traditional stuff. And so now with that Fire Stick platform, muzzleloading is almost as easy as loading a break action shotgun.
Absolutely.
Right. It becomes, it's demystified, it's safer, and people are all of a sudden comfortable and going, oh,
they're more intrigued now.
They are. And what's interesting, people muzzle load because in a lot of states there's some pretty good seasons and extra opportunities.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll get an early, like Pennsylvania has an early inline season in addition to that dedicated flintlock season. So they have a mid-October season for deer and bear for inline.
That's a great point. You can squeeze a couple more weeks out of hunting season.
Exactly.
You get all your standard times and your regular bolt action stuff. But then if you want to you get into this, you can get a couple extra weeks.
Yeah, in Mississippi, we get kind of early in the season,
and
then the very last season. Sometimes when you get your secondary ruts and stuff that are coming around, then you're falling into black powder.
I hadn't even thought about that, but you can definitely extend your season a little bit.
And there are also states, and we touched on it earlier with the straight wall platform. There's a lot of states that are allowing straight wall cartridges to be used in muzzleloader seasons.
Exactly.
In a bunch of states. And so we have a platform in that, in kind of all the usual suspects, the 350 Legend, 450 Bushmaster, 360 Buckhammer.
Your 35 calibers are larger.
35 Wayland, 35 Remington. All of those in the straight wall. For the straight wall markets, our Outfitter platform is designed for that. It's a single shot rifle. We make it in a standard model. We make it in the Pro Series with the adjustability. Most of the bigger calibers all have a brake on them anyway, to muzzle brake to reduce that. And so that's a great platform. And that's the one that has the detachable forend. So you can, it's super easy. You don't have to mess with a screw to disassemble, because when you want to clean in the action and everything like that. But you can pop that off without a tool, break the gun apart, take the barrel off. It's a very good platform. It's been very popular for us.
Fantastic.
Anything else you want to give a plug to here while we're here?
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope she's watching. We'll see. we'll get you the link. We can send it to Mom.
Yeah, no, I mean, just really to reiterate, Traditions, we're, you cut us and we bleed black powder. We are insanely focused on the muzzle loading segment of the market. We're a leader. We're driving innovation. We're driving safety. We're working with the CSF, and we're working with states to try and increase the awareness and knowledge, help attract new hunters into the markets.
We need it.
We do. And we saw a big bump during COVID in hunting participation, and now things are kind of back to where they were before then, where it's a short and slow decline. And so, but here you have a platform that's new, it's cooler, it's a little bit more hip, if you will. Some of the younger participants can be
jazzy and flashy.
Well, we're seeing that too, a resurgence in a lot of the revolvers. Jason works tirelessly on a lot of these exclusives that we have. And the revolvers have been huge for us. These last couple of years, I think people are looking for some new kind of innovative, different things.
Yep.
We've all got. We've all got the standards, and I think people are interested in some of this, some of these kind of throwback,
of course,
for lack of a better term, but throwback type firearms and things like that.
It just shows the progression in the firearms industry, and especially black powder that has been stagnant for so long.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that, we do have a line of single action guns, cowboy guns, wheel guns that we make. They all have a transfer bar safety system. It's 357, 45 Colt, 44 mag, a bunch of black flavors, if you will.
These are revolvers
and also black powder.
The mini cannons.
I mean,
the mini.
Everybody needs a desktop cannon.
Absolutely. I mean, the mini cannons. I think we sell damn near everything you carry.
You guys have broadened it out pretty good.
So you can go to LIPSEY'S.com and you can see everything that we sell for with Traditions.
Plus all the ready packs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really cool lineup.
The ready packs are popular for a couple of reasons. a lot of times, again, it's a separate season, and somebody maybe, oh, well, I didn't kill out this year, so I got a muzzleloader season, but I don't have a muzzleloader, and I don't know anything about them. And so, we make our Buckstalker. It's kind of our entry-level gun. We sell it in a kit that has all the accessories you need: bullet starters, bullets, charging loads, some cleaning stuff, a sampling pack of bullets, everything you need but powders and primers, all in one box, right? So it's great for somebody that's just getting started, right? And a lot of times, a lot of our guns, we sell them in scope package too. So it's literally grab and go, right?
Yeah.
We have them scoped and unscoped, but depending on what state you're in and everything, they come with a 3 to 9x40. And so it's literally grab and go. They're all bore sighted at the factory, all of our scope guns. So you can be on paper, you can leave the store and go to the range and be on paper, right?
Nice.
So we're and we saw a lot of those. It's a little bit different person than an experienced person that's maybe,
Well, as someone that's dipping their
another
toes.
muzzleloader. Yeah. And again, it's all about convenience. Make it easy for that person to get started.
Sure.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you coming by and taking a little time to chat.
Yes,
here today.
sir.
I mean,
Yeah,
a lot
absolutely.
of good information, and you can find more good info on the website. What's the actual web URL?
So our website's traditionsfirearms.com.
.com, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's a great resource. You can a lot of the things we just discussed, I know you can find there, and also you can find their social media, all their social media stuff on there. I know you guys are on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And
Absolutely,
all that good stuff.
absolutely. That's our Allison in our marketing department. She's in charge of all that, and we're out there putting content out. And you'll see if you follow us at Tradition Firearms on like Instagram or something. There's lots of videos out there about some of the uniquenesses, the different platforms, the flintlocks or the cannons or different things like that. And so we're constantly, just putting things out there and making people aware of the company, the lines, some of the uniqueness to a lot of these different markets, because it is it's not like it's just a general deer season everywhere. Right?
Exactly.
We got the NitroBolt, the new hot ticket, as of the end of August. It's available for now. I hate to even say that.
Limited quantities.
You know?
It has been wildly received, and we are allocated on it. We have 2 more containers coming in a week, and we got guns that'll be shipping and more guns.
Our disclaimer is always just be patient.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of, this will be a high demand item, but it's really cool. Go to your LIPSEY'S dealer, talk to them about getting one on order for you. But
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Of course, you know where to find us at LIPSEY'S Guns and all over the social media. And again, thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Good to
you.
see
It's been
man.
a pleasure.
Till next time, guys, aim higher.